Welcome, BBCs, to episode number 267 of the Broken by Concept podcast, the number one League of Legends solo queue educational and motivational podcast. Curtis, take us away with this episode. What are we going to be exploring today about solo queue League of Legends? We love it. What's going on?
So I'm excited for this one. Over the past week or two, we've had a bunch of people reach out, specifically in our Skool community, linking this specific YouTube video from the YouTuber. His name is Kalik, and the YouTube video is titled League of Legends Rigged Matchmaking and How to Exploit It. Okay? Now, typically when we kind of dissect these videos, we would kind of react to it, go through it, dissect it point by point, but we're not really doing that today. We're going to be approaching this topic a little bit differently. So, at a high level, there are many videos out there that kind of support and rally behind the idea of rigged matchmaking, losers queue in ELO hell. And we've tackled these all before, pretty extensively in the past. We even did a case study specifically on Delirious, the content creator. He had his whole spiel about rigged matchmaking. We went in depth and kind of dissected that and broke down every narrative step by step.
The interesting thing with a lot of these videos is that they sort of just highlight the issue, but they don't give you solutions. This video is literally saying how to exploit.
I love that word, exploit.
Or how to use it to your advantage in a way. Usually the videos aren't like that, where people just say, oh, losers queue exists. Oh, poor me. This guy's got the answer maybe.
I wonder if the guy that made the video has exploited it.
Yeah, we'll get into that for sure. And, we kind of, the way I view them is like, we're kind of the good guys kind of cleaning up the streets. We're Batman. We're going out there cleaning up the streets. And
Inspector Gordon.
And then these people disappear. And then every now and then a video kind of seeps back into the YouTube feed. And I see it, by the way, because sometimes people bring in YouTube VODs in our academies. And I see it in the recommended. So they pop up in the algorithm. And it probably targets a lot of League of Legends players. And so this one popped off. It actually had quite a lot of views. And I really didn't even want to talk about it. I thought it was not really going to be that relevant. But it started to pick up traction.
It lands on our desk.
Comes across our desk, yeah.
It slides across our desk. So really what we're going to do, the goal is getting to the root of the issue. We're not going to be just addressing surface level shit. We're going to get to the root. We're going to pull the weed out.
So we're thinking big picture here now.
We're talking big picture stuff. So rather than going through the video, I'm going to break down the video, watch it, and I'm going to break it down into 4 premises. The video has 4 premises. And I'm just going to pull a bunch of quotes from the video so we don't have to sit through the whole video and react to it, okay?
Nice.
So premise number 1. Riot bases their matchmaking, MMR, and entire rank system around stats. So if you have better stats than the average player of your rank, you will get better teammates and you will climb. If you die a lot and you have bad stats, even if you win, you will eventually be put in losers queue and drop down. That's the first premise. All about stats.
That's what he said in the video.
And just to be clear, when they speak about stats, they mean like kills, deaths, assists, CS, KP.
He even went deeper. His claim is that they track everything. Like camera control, clicks. APM. Like his whole spiel.
How much you ping and stuff.
Everything.
Interesting.
So that was his first take. And he said, so these are a few quotes kind of, I guess, in relation to that. Winning games isn't how you climb anymore. You've got to stop trying to win and keep your numbers up. Riot knows who the good and bad players are. You don't have control over that. Riot wants you at a 50% win rate, and once you get there, you're better off making a new account. They're the main ones. Okay.
I love how he says, you got to stop trying to win and just keep your numbers up. It's like purely play for KDA. Like, don't attend all those fights. Just make sure you have a nice, pretty score and high.
You know what's kind of cool is he's almost got it. He's like, stop trying to win. Try to improve, but instead of trying to improve, he's like, play for KDA.
Pad your stats.
It's like, don't. But I got the first half there. He almost had it. It was close.
You pad your stats so you can get into winners queue.
That's essentially the premise. Okay. And the way his model that he's claiming is true is that, it doesn't really matter it's not about kind of if you win or lose. It's like, do your stats. He's thinking, okay, there's an objective kind of emerald. Let's say you're in gold, right? There is like an objective like stat line that makes up an emerald player being emerald. And so if you have stats that look like an emerald player, then you're going to be emerald.
The system will keep you an emerald.
And so if you win games, but you don't have stats and clicks and APM and things that don't look like emerald, then the system's going to put you with bad teammates. It's going to prevent you from getting to emerald.
Does he have? I mean, I don't know. Are we going to dive into this one, or are you going to read the premises?
No, I think
gonna-
we're doing big picture, right?
Yeah, we're going to start
This
with
is-
all these premises first
Okay.
to get it all out there, and then we'll kind of go.
Yeah, I'm
on.
already getting antsy.
Okay. The second
Charles
one,
getting fired up.
It's interested.
it's very interesting. The second one is that there is
Like, does
no
not comport.
it doesn't comport. There is no value to getting high elo. It's just one of many. It's just one game of many and provides no value because you'll never go pro. Okay, that's the second premise. And the quote here, why would you want to get high rank anyway? Put it on your resume and see where it gets you. We'll come back to that one.
Cool.
The third premise, you can actually climb if you're good, but it takes too long, so it's not worth it. That's the third premise. Quote here, but actually, if you are a half decent player, you can reach any rank you want, but only if you play enough games, so that's the catch. Okay?
Okay, so contentions 1 and 3 kind of not really aligning
Yep.
already.
Exactly. Yep. Spot on. And then number 4, he personally is the living proof the system is rigged since the games are hard in silver, and that can't be possible. Quote, games are now hard in silver. These players are so bad, but not me.
So
Of
he's
course.
silver.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
correct. He's silver.
okay.
Okay, so we're going to go, we might circle back to some of these points, and there's a lot we can really dissect, but we could sit here and theoretically just logically break down each of these and
Yeah.
move on with our day. But again, we're going to do this differently. So my contention here is that this whole idea of losers queue, rigged matchmaking, is actually, it's a movement, but it's actually a belief system.
Ooh.
Okay, it's a belief system. It's an emotion-based belief system rooted in insecurity, fear of failure, and fixed mindset. Okay, and so the power of this movement is that it provides a safe space for players who are beat down by the game and are wanting relief from the pain and misery that they are facing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this
Literal
is the quote.
copium.
Literal copium, exactly right. And this is what I said. If the system is rigged, then it's not my fault that I can't climb. So I'm not really as incompetent as I thought. Those people higher than me just know how to game the system better than me. That's the internal monologue.
That's great. I've got a quote for you. We're going to skip into quote nice and early. This is not a movie quote. I might butcher it. I think this is a Karl Marx quote, I'm going to say. I think it's religion is the opium or opiate of the masses, right? I think he's talking about like the drug opium, right? So losers queue is the copium of the masses when it comes to League of Legends. That's what people are doing. So
That's my contention.
yeah, interesting.
So I
like
don't
it.
think it's not a logical position. We've come at this, right, through this, this whole direction of like, we're going to break down your points very logically. What do we always say? Why is it that there are better players out there? If we go on your account and we play on your account, we're going to get it to Masters here in 7 days. How is that possible? And so it never comports with these people, right? Because it's not a logical based position.
Yeah.
It's a belief system. It's something that it's nonsensical because it supports and hides fears and deep insecurities about their view of the game and their view of themselves. And that's why there's like I call it a movement because there are a lot, and one of the big motivators making this video is the comment section.
Comment section of that video specifically.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Wild stuff. But they frame it as logical though. Like all those points at the top there, he's trying to like break it down. Like, yeah, that's like quite a logic. He's saying that stats is the reason why you get into losers queue and why you get stuck in the thing. So they do try and frame it in a way of some logic there, but really you're just saying it's just a belief system.
Exactly right. It's a belief system. And so if you have this belief, you're gonna misconstrue. You're gonna cherry pick every piece of potential evidence.
Well, it's all just anecdotal as well.
It's all anecdotal, and it's nothing's proven. None of those. The whole thing about Riot with basing any matchmaking off stats is complete conjecture. There's no evidence to support that whatsoever. But again, it's this beautiful kind of like narrative, that cherry pick narrative that is again supported by this belief system. Okay, now. My personal favorite is the entire message around, I am the good player here. My team are the apes, and I'm the one that stuck with them. And it's a beautiful message to push because it empowers the player at the expense of others. It bolsters the ego and makes us feel like it was someone else all along. That's the beauty of this whole Losers Cube movement, because think about it. It's the complete definition of making you feel good, hiding all of those insecurities and everything. Because think about it, if it's not you, if it's the system, then you basically rid yourself of all.
Then why try? Why try to get better? Why improve yourself if you there's no point?
You tell me.
Yeah. It's
So-
just pure narcissism at that point, isn't it? Really.
With that quote saying, "I'm the good player here. My teams are apes, and I'm the one stuck with them." That mindset.
Yeah.
So, is the way that the matchmaking in their minds is working is that you've got the team's always going to have the better stats, like wins. Like, is there like the losers queue games where it's just like both teams, or there's always a winning team that has to beat the other team?
Yeah, I think
Is that
that's
the
I
idea?
think that's the thing. I think the whole idea is that you're exactly right. There is a winning team and a losing team.
It's predetermined.
It's exactly. It's all
predetermined,
predetermined, and that there is
Going
no
through the motions.
We're going to, and there's no possible way for you to win those games, and the reason behind that is because Riot want to keep you playing the game.
Yep.
They want to keep you at a 50% win rate, so you never climb.
But you can actually climb if you're a decent player.
Yeah, and that's where the logical fallacy kind of, or it takes too long. Maybe that's what the contention is there. It takes too long to climb, so they want to keep you on the rat reel for long enough.
Yeah, nice.
So it's not about skill necessarily. That's not the big factor. It's more so again your stats. But it's weird because like I don't really. I mean, we'll dissect that later. But I just want to that's the groundwork of my contention. We're going to go deeper here, but that's the groundwork of the contention.
All right,
Okay?
let's keep going.
So these videos made by people like Kalik, Delirious, among others, use these elaborate stories, cherry-picked clips, and false evidence that paint this alluring picture of why this phenomenon occurs. Now, because the general player base, they don't know any better, and they're desperate to stop feeling bad about losing games and are stuck, they fall head over heels for it. And that's where we come in. We're here to kind of peel back the layers, basically scrape the fat off of it and try to actually uncover the truth, right? It's finally a place where a lot of these people who, maybe they feel incredibly insecure, upset about their journey, can feel heard and more secure in their ability. The losers queue movement is toxic because it preys on vulnerable individuals who just simply, A, don't know how to learn in a complex environment, or B, maybe relied on talent in previous games, right? They were maybe good in previous games. C, had ambitions of being high elo, but were crushed at the reality of how hard the league journey is. D, don't know how to review. Next, often have a fixed mindset, or they just love the idea of league, but when it comes to practicality and the execution, they're really struggling with it.
Yeah.
So that's what Losers Queue does. It takes all of these kind of people that have been like brutalized by the League of Legends experience because they haven't accepted the reality of how hard League is, and they've said, "Come, don't worry, guys, come here. You were right all along. It was not your fault. It was the system." And so it's kind of this giant alluring kind of like quote unquote safe space for them to feel a part of something. And I am going to take a second here to go to the comments. So I think this is where the comments really come into play. All right. So I'm going to sort it here by top comments. Here we go. I had so many games where people would try to not win, work towards KDA, and eventually just sit in the fountain until the game ended. I never understood how so many people in my games could be so bad, but now I get it. They were the smart ones. They were winning. Games after taking a break, even as short as a week ago, are also ridiculously easy once you return. In fact, the longer the break, the easier the first 2 to 8 games are going to be. I don't really understand that one. This one, I feel like Neo waking up from the Matrix by discovering this video.
Jesus.
Is that air you're breathing now? Is that losers queue you're breathing now? It's the Matrix.
It's a shame how long I played this game having a feeling it was rigged the entire time. Riot is such an evil company.
So it's malicious. The losers queue is malicious. It's meant to keep us in the Matrix.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And so there's basically literally hundreds. There's 565 comments, and majority of these are basically saying how this video is finally, it's the thing that it's all making sense now. It's the reason I haven't been able to climb. And these are just poor people who are falling into this trap. Again, they fall into one of those categories.
I like the don't know how to learn in a complex environment, and going further, defining the complex environment of League of Legends. I talk about this all the time. This is the first game that has a wide audience and a very competitive player base. You obviously talk about, the Dotas of the game. People might be saying, StarCraft and Dota, they were really hardcore dedicated before League of Legends, but they were still quite niche in the competitive.
Yeah, League's mainstream.
League's mainstream competitive, and that's just shocking to a lot of the, the mainstream gamers or competitive gamers that used to play the COD lobbies that, went 20-0, and, COD lobbies were extremely poor matchmaking. There was no proper match gaming. League and Riot have created a very good matchmaking matchmaking system, and people are collapsing in that. And then this is where the losers queue comes into play, the complex environment. You know, when I start reviewing with like an emerald player or a diamond player, you know, like I'm saying, we really got to get into the details now, because you're just not, it's not possible to get
bloody
climb.
hard.
It's bloody hard because you're versing
Yeah.
very good players now at this point. So
Because the player base has gotten better as well. That's another factor. It's constantly getting better.
Constantly getting better. And also, yeah, we've got a wide range of people come from different backgrounds in a extremely competitive game that's been around for a long time. A game has not really survived this long with this matchmaking for so long. So that's where, complex environment, people just collapse in this complex environment. This is like again, I always think we're in the Stone Ages with competitive video games, and League's the first one to sort of start breaking that. And it's like this interesting how there's like this losers queue movement that I hope will start to lose its momentum over the next couple of years, especially when coaching gets more widely accepted. Like in terms of, you know, people might be saying, well, there's also coaching. You guys do coaching in League of Legends, but, you know, compared to traditional sports, it's not even close to, like, you know, kids grow up with coaches and stuff, and then
it's the norm.
It's the norm, right? But the average League player just has no idea. The silver player there has no idea the difference between, like, them, why they're losing games in silver compared to maybe like an emerald. Like, you know how people have that thing how they say silver and emerald are like the same? You know how people say it all the time, or like gold and bronze is like the same.
Yes.
Or people say
That's
it's
a
like
common
it's
one.
easy to get emerald, or it's easy to get platinum. It's easy
The
to get
fact
diamond.
that those statements exist just goes to show how massive lack of understanding of what's going on in the games, what's going on with their teammates, what's going on with their gameplay, what's their understanding of champ mastery. It's just really surface level at the moment.
One of the words that has cropped up a few times, which I find quite interesting, is the word easy. Like, climbing should be easy. The games feel hard. It's difficult. It requires a lot of time. Like, effort, expending effort to get a result in the video game just isn't understood.
It's wild because that's not how
Yeah.
people view video games.
I even had someone, I won't say who it was, but in like in the Botland Academy said, should climbing be hard? Or should it be this hard to climb? It's like, yeah. It's effort. It's brutal.
If you've got a competitive if you've got a really good competitive MMR matchmaking system, as well as, you know, a huge player base, it's going to be really difficult. Of course, it's going to be
competing
difficult.
against other people who are trying to do the same thing as you. It's a race.
It's like it just doesn't exist. If everyone had a 60% win rate, who's got the 40%? Who's on the other side of that? You
the
know?
apes, apparently. The teammates trying to lose, apparently.
Yeah, it's like that they're saying there's like a bunch of like zombies that go in to give people the high win rates or something, but everyone's trying to win. Everyone has the off games and good games. It's like sort of, you know, thinking like there's got to be a winner and a loser. Like,
that's not how they view it, though, because in these people's minds, a part of this movement is that each individual is the center of their own universe.
That's right.
It's
Yeah.
it's like dead internet theory, you know? Everyone else around you is just like
bots
a bot.
and
It's just
stuff.
bots in the game, yeah.
Wild. It's just if you just zoom out, big picture.
Because that's what but this theory, this movement reduces you to numbers. It reduces you to statistics. You don't have free will.
Yes.
It's just like literally you have a value. It's like my lovely, I love bringing up Gattaca, right? It's everyone has like a sequence of DNA, like a value, and you just put the numbers into the machine and it spits out an answer and you win or you lose, and that's that.
Which is not how improvement in sports and all that.
But it's comforting, Nathan.
It's very
because it's easy to understand. So, that makes sense. Awesome. Cool.
We can clearly remember that episode we did, by the way, where we had to guess the rank.
Yeah.
And why was it we were so close on all those people? So some of them we were off, but the fact that that's even possible.
Well, for
is
your
crazy.
roles, you were on for like all of them, right?
Yeah, that's
I think
right.
you're
I
on
think
for
we
all
were
of
on for all of our roles because obviously what we've got the most experience with. But, you know, just the simple fact, you can clearly compare what a challenger player is doing compared to a gold player and emerald player. You can literally side by side the games and look at the champ master and the difference and see their clicks and all that sort of stuff. It's
different
so
champ to
obvious
champ, though, as well. Like person to person. Like this whole statistics thing is obviously just bullshit because there are many ways to get high rank, right? You can go with great stats, you can get it with bad stats, you can get it with some good stats, there's so many different ways to do it. So the statistics thing wouldn't even work. You could actually look at like 80 carries, an example. The role I understand is you could look at the top of the ladder on any server, take the best 80 carries, and they would all have wildly different statistics because there's so many different ways to win games.
And also, stats are always relative to the opponents that you're versing.
Yeah, if you smurf up the ladder, you're going to have great stats.
Exactly right.
Like NattyNat, who we're going to get up to in a bit, who was started in lower rank, right?
And I love what you said before. You know, you get those people sometimes in the academies where they they asked that question: is it really meant to be this hard? And like Tim set a 2-week challenge for one of the MLA members, and he's like really struggling, and he's like hitting his plateau, and he's like wrote this whole thing about, oh, games feel really hard. I don't know how to win, and I'm like, that's why you're here. This is what we're here to do. We're here to reach your plateau point and then try to develop some new skills and continue to go on. This is exactly how it should always feel. If it's feeling easy, you haven't got to the rank that you're meant to be yet. That's just it. That's just it.
Yeah, it's sad. Like, get that Goldilocks level of difficulty where it's like, it's hard, but it's not unachievable, should feel good to human beings. That's what's kind of progressed us forwards as a species, hasn't it? Not like pissing around on the Xbox, like shooting people in like easy lobbies, like on shipment or whatever. Like, it's not how it's meant to work.
The whole, pressure makes diamonds thing,
Yeah.
And I think this whole losers queue thing is just so disrespectful to the people that have actually, the challenger players that have won tricks and developed the mastery, and the pro players and stuff. Like, it's just shitting all over
model,
that.
No, in this model, they're special. They're the special chosen few who can transcend the system because of their mega talent. You know
Also,
what I mean?
talent comes into play.
I think that's the premise, is that you're not one of those players. So you're either a machine or a beast, or you're not.
So there's
one
almost
of
like
them.
3 classes.
Yes.
There's like the underclass.
Yes.
Who are like underrepresented. Like
You're talking about the losers queue class or whatever.
Yes.
There's 3 classes. It's like the zombies, who are the apes who lose you games. There's the losers queue class, and then there's the pro
He
players.
literally says that, by the way. He calls them sheep, where there's like this AI. He's like the AI sheep. They're not real.
Dude, it's
And
like 1984.
Yeah.
There's 3 classes.
it's incredible. All right, we're gonna continue on here. Okay. Now,
Just quickly going with
proles.
with the talent thing, saying that is that other upper class, like the talented people, you can break down exactly what they're doing in those skills, their speed of their resets, their efficiency, the quality of their ganks. I'm thinking from a jungler's perspective.
No, they can't, Nathan. That's what you're saying. They cannot. The proles cannot understand what the challenger players are doing. You can. They can't.
because you're the chosen one, Nathan.
Oh, so they're not. What are you saying?
It's forbidden knowledge.
Are they saying that they're not intelligent enough to learn that?
No.
Because there is clear skills. I think people just don't think that there's clear skills in League of Legends. They haven't broken down
Well,
the
that's what
fundamentals.
logically, yes.
Yeah.
But there's no logical. Again, where it's an emotion.
You got to think of it from their perspective. If
It's
they
an
can't see it, it doesn't exist.
fear-based thing. This is not a logical. You can't view this logically. Every time we go around in circles logically, yes, we are right. You're hitting all of you. We're all hitting the nail on the head. But that's not why these videos pop off.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the emotion. That's why I'm trying to apply some
Yes.
reverse emotion to this
I'm
situation.
just too
so-
logical. I
No, we
guess.
got to use analogies. You got to fight them with their own like ammunition, Nathan.
Okay, so this one's interesting. The biggest simultaneous genius and toxic element of this belief system is that anyone who doesn't subscribe to this philosophy is the sheep of losers who are addicted to the game and manipulated by Riot. It is only the chosen few who are enlightened enough to understand that the entire system is rigged, and they are the ones that have taken the pill and can see reality for what it is and can rise above and get people to quit the game. So your choice is, am I just an idiot for thinking the system is fine, or am I an addicted loser? This is why it's so hard to unplug yourself from this belief system. It's incredibly sticky. So in the video, right, constantly, it's like you're made to believe that it's like, if you're watching this video, you're the smart one. Like, congratulations, you figured it out.
You're out of the Matrix.
You're out of the Matrix. You figured it out, buddy. You can finally have muster up the energy to finally quit because the system is rigged. They're manipulating you. You're addicted. You're never going to get out of that cycle. And in a way, it's like this. It's this very kind of like, it's very hard if you don't understand the game. It's so hard to get out of that. It's such a beautiful belief system. It's like a trap. Once it's got you, once it's snared you and trapped you, it's very, very hard to get out of it.
Yeah, you literally say it's a genius.
It is genius.
Yeah,
it's a really, really genius idea. And it's also worth noting that the players who make these videos nearly always have we saw this, by the way, Delirious, extremely distorted views of the game and rarely have sustained success. Karlik, for example, will put up an image of his OPGG, who made this video, is a multi-season silver jungler. And this is not meant as a rank shame. It's just important to clarify where this information is actually coming from. But the people watching this are made to believe that this is coming from just some extremely knowledgeable player, someone who's figured it out.
The architect of the system.
The architect of the system. It's not like this person just climbed to Challenger and they know exactly how to game the system. This person's like peaked platinum once in like 10 years of playing the game and is a multi-silver player.
And no one has rigged the systems to Challenger in the history of the
doesn't
game
work.
ever.
It's
You
also
can't do
not
that.
someone who's like hooked into Riot's API, got all the data and spreadsheeted it and figured it all out. It's just some guy with an opinion.
No one has
It's just some
started
random dude with this opinion, and then it's just again, it's appealing to the masses.
It's like, guys, I figured it out. Like, what evidence you've got? None at all.
Yeah. Oh, and the evidence again is this, what he does, right? And what the genius. I love these videos because it has all this B-roll footage of him popping off on Hack Room. And it's like, this game is zipping around. He's like 7-1, and he like loses his game. He's like, look, it's just adding fuel to the fire about like it's just the teammates. It's the
And when you actually look at those games where he's 7-1, the kills he's gotten were just freebies or low impact kills where he didn't get any objective or anything off it. You look at the VODs, he's got like 70 farm at like 15 minutes or whatever in his high kills. It's like you're actually not that strong.
and just
He's
skip
like,
over the deaths and the bounties given.
and it's. Again, break it down, and he's not actually fed or in a carry position at all.
But the general community again don't have the skill set.
They think
to be able to-
KDA.
they say
The Kegron
KDA.
played well, Nathan. Come on. You're bound to die a few times in a game.
Yeah.
Okay, and so this is where I want to refer to Occam's razor. So Occam's razor is a problem-solving principles that suggest that the simplest explanation for a phenomenon with the fewest assumptions is generally the most likely to be true. So Riot don't have this elaborate way of keeping you at a 50% win rate. They don't design a system that is impossible to climb. They don't want you stuck at a rank intentionally. It's all in the people's head. This is the case because we've worked with thousands of people on a day-to-day basis over years who just all they have to do is work on a few different decisions, and they can climb like crazy. Or we could play on any one of their accounts and get it to master tier in like a week tops, right? And so like Occam's razor, I think it's really applicable here.
And by the way, when we do let's say if we were to play on their accounts again as a master, we could literally explain exactly what we're doing in every moment, why we're winning the games. It's not random, it's not thing. It's like literally this is what's happening. This is the fact that that's possible in League of Legends. There's no randomness to it. The game's very structured means that the game is more of a sport. It's not like a game. It's a sport. We got to start. I think that's the thing is that people just don't view the game. It's not that terminology like sport.
Well, people don't even view it as players. People view it as accounts.
Yeah, and bots.
That whole idea of like you're on an account. It's not the human piloting the account. It's the account itself which wins or loses the game.
Yeah, there's no human element.
It's very odd.
And League is the most human game. You know, you talk a lot of the time, Curtis, but you can literally see the player psychology in like when we break down all of the mistakes that we see people in reviews. We can literally break down why you're making this play, like in terms of viewing the game psychologically, in terms of the way that you view a champion and stuff. It's a very human game, but people think it's like a robotic game.
I think Charles hit the nail on the head, though. That is exactly how people view this. It's account. This account is doomed.
You're a vessel.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just an entity
It's like
piloting
the
an
account
account.
pilots it for you. You're not pilot. You're just like, I'm just on the account. The account's just going to take me.
Yeah, you have a cursed account, a doomed account,
That's
a high LP account, high MMR account.
So, like, imagine
It's such a fascinating topic.
It's such a fascinating topic, right? Because imagine how sophisticated the system would have to be to it has this crazy algorithm that exactly knows who the good players and bad players are, right? Somehow, where there's no room for improvement as well, according to the system. Like, you're just a bad player or a good player. And then it has this elaborate system, and it singles out these bad players, makes their accounts unwinnable, and then that's that.
So then they lose all the games. So are those the people? If that's the case, if there's all those loser queue games and the games are predetermined, wouldn't that mean that on that side that class would have 70% win rates, and then everyone else is on 30% win rates or something like that?
Yeah, you would have massive win rate discrepancies.
You would have massive
exactly
win rate
right.
discrepancies.
Yeah. But again, this could all be simply explained by it's just a rank system that's finding your rank. You're hitting your plateau point, and which is exactly what we saw with Delirious, right? Delirious would get a new account. He would ride up the high MMR, get to a point, start losing games because that's his level of play, and then start crashing down and then hope he makes a new account.
Or there's a room in Riot Games headquarters, the command center, where it's like there's an operator in the middle of the room. There's a team of specialist computers, and he's doing the matchmaking. He's like, put that guy in that game, put that guy in that game, and we're just like commanding it like a naval ship.
Yeah. And Delirious was on the hit list. Kalec was on the hit list.
And it's not his fault, it's just his account.
Yeah. And this is where we need to really emphasize the damage done to the community. And this is why we're making this video. I don't give a shit. We don't give a shit about Kalec and his little Silver 3 account. That's whatever. It's the hundreds and hundreds of comments and thousands of viewers that are watching these videos. And we know that the damage has already been done, right? This video has been out for months. It's got a lot of views. And I want to, these are the people that in the comments that we need to help support and bring them back to life and help them develop a healthier relationship with the game. So I want to now kind of end this little segment going through a few of the premises. We mentioned the premises at the start of the video, his 4 premises. So his whole thing, the first one was about stats, right? Stats is how you climb. It's not about, if you win or lose. It's about how you win or lose in terms of stats, right? The reality is winning is how you climb, right? And if you're losing, it's just because you're plateaued. Yes, we're all going to get some rough games, and that's because we're only one person on the Rift, right? It's a 5v5 game. You've only got limited control. But just like any other game, it manifests a little bit differently in League because it is a MOBA comparatively to maybe FPS or something like that. And yeah, the whole thing about MMR, it's just the system is trying to find your level of play. So it will put you in some higher MMR lobbies, some lower MMR lobbies, some average MMR lobbies. It's trying to calibrate how good is this player. So where should we put it? What should the MMR gains be? And what is this person's level of play? That's all the system is trying to do. And the more games you play, the more accurate it's going to be. And that's it. And that's the tough pill you have to swallow.
Yeah. It's weird because to someone in this movement, that whole... what you've just described there is like, it could just be another belief system. Like you just believe in the matchmaking works.
Yeah, that is true. And we don't have access to the actual matchmaking, don't have publicly accessible their matchmaking. Was it true skill? We don't know exactly how it works, right? So that's like a proprietary thing. So we don't actually exactly know how it works.
But what we can draw on is our experience helping thousands of people move up the ladder in accordance to their level of play.
Yeah.
So we do have a pretty good data set.
We have a good data set. Exactly right. But we don't, but you are right though. We don't have hard evidence that shows how the matchmaking system works. So theoretically, right, this this whole belief system could theoretically be perpetuated because there isn't hard evidence. There is value in pursuit. The second point was that there was no point getting high elo. And we've had this before many times.
I think with that whole video, that was the guy, we did that breakdown of talking about the amateurs, that guy, that video. He said something about that it's not a degree on the wall, so it's like pointless or whatever.
Yeah, and just like, and you could say that about any hobby. You could say that about tennis, chess, painting. Sure, painting has no value. You're drawing a little horsey on the wall and no one gives a shit about it. Okay, but you had a lot of fun. You got a lot of satisfaction, a lot of contentment out of it. How do you put value? Just because something is not going to make you a lot of money or provide you any material gain doesn't mean it has no value. It's the value is in you enjoying your hobby. We don't shit on people who like playing Warhammer figurines just because it makes no money. That's because that's what they want to do.
No, some people do. It is sad. I think it's just a thing in society where people do kind of attribute, like, if you're not making money from it or if it's not getting you social status, then why are you doing it? You know? I think there's a loss of, because again, this whole thing about a movement, it's moving away from the individual and towards the collective, right? I think that like it's just a waste of time. You're a part of a group of people that do this thing, and that's just stupid because like it's a waste of time.
And it's a lot of what we talk about is how much skills, and the people that have written into like the Broken by Concept podcast that have used like the the idea of the 3-block method, the growth mindset to apply to other areas of their life. There is a lot of skills you learn from League of Legends because it is a sport just like other sports. Parents love their kids doing sports. Unfortunately, video games is not one of those currently because video games has a pretty bad rap in terms of in society at the moment. But yeah, basically he's basically saying sports are a waste of time. That's what that means. When people say sports are a waste of time, that's basically saying that. Because again, League's not viewed as a sport.
Yes. And we've had so many people who have done insane things using their skills from League of Legends. We have people write in or like join the academies and stuff who have like helped battle like addiction and stuff through like developing a growth mindset and through League of Legends.
But I do want to say that even though we've had a lot of those stories, even if you got zero value again in terms of just like all these achievements, let's say you didn't develop a growth mindset, you didn't learn how to conquer an addiction, or you didn't learn how to regulate your emotions, that's okay too.
Of course.
But if you just played League and you had a bit of fun and you just had fun climbing, great.
Yeah, I like watching TV in the evenings a little bit.
Exactly right.
It's all good.
And the other one here is the third point. He said that it's not worth doing because you can get high elo, but it just takes too long. That's the catch.
Yep.
Again, pretty straightforward. anything worth doing is going to take time.
Anything in a very competitive environment. If you want to get to the top of it, you need to put in the hours. That's that's like a no shit Sherlock type thing. Right?
Everything should be fast and easy.
Everything should be fast and easy. Again, going back to the video game,
The McDonald's mindset.
the fast. It's like league, gambling. Yeah, climb up the ladder fast.
Give me my rank now. Give it to me now, and I want it to be easy.
So entitled, isn't it?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Oh, it
Getting
angers
angry.
me. It is.
And the last one, he's complaining about silver games, these people in silver being so bad, and the reality, and that he's losing these games. He can't possibly, and the reality, he is a silver player. And that's the tough bit. He's making decisions at a silver level. If you're making decisions at a gold level, you would be gold. And the system will force that upon you. It will force you to wrap your head around that fact.
And depending on your gaming background and how often you can play and what champions you play, getting silver can be an achievement.
Yep.
Like, we go from iron to silver, awesome. That's really fantastic. So definitely not like saying that that's a terrible thing. It just is what it is. It is objectively, you're playing like a silver player if you're in silver.
Yep. So, I kind of wanted to, really help people who are falling trapped to this, is that you need to really ask yourself, what makes this so appealing? What makes you so, what makes you really rally behind this idea emotionally? And I think that it's not something that, again, is logical, and we can sit here and go in circles, talk about logically, but I don't think it is a logical thing. And I think that it is a movement, it is a belief system, and I'm hoping we can get this podcast episode on people's YouTube feeds to kind of battle, win the war, clean up the streets.
I don't think we're close to winning the war. We're just doing little battles here and there, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of criminals.
Yeah.
Any other comments on this one?
I see a very weak argument. I just want to point out, very weak argument.
Very weak argument.
Batman had the Joker to fight. Like, that's a good enemy. That guy has got some powers behind him. He's like really got a belief system. He's got a lot of resources, some gusto. Like, who are we versing? What is this?
Yeah,
Like, pretty weak premises.
And then there's, like you said, there's a lot of logical fallacies in there, right? Where
They
you
contradict
can't climb, but
each
then there
other.
are people that can climb, but you can climb, but it takes too long. It's all over the place. And again, that's the way these videos typically are.
Interesting.
So hopefully this helps.
Bootcamp weekend. September 27th, 28th. WTL Bootcamp number 4. Tickets are now available. We've sold out the mid lane tickets, unfortunately, in literally like the first 24 hours with 60 tickets for that. Top jungle support, all the other roles are still going to be available. What the bootcamp is, there'll be way more information below, by the way. If you want to click on that, weteachleague.com/bootcamp, I think is the link. It's basically a 2-day event. And you buy a ticket for a block, you play 3 games, you have a personal coach with you there, fast-paced reviews, might be some live coaching as well, depends on if the coach has some time. Again, more information will be there, and you can get the tickets there. I mean, I imagine they're probably going to be sold out in the next week or so.
A handful left.
Yeah, a handful left. So, yes, check that out.
First boot camp available to non-academy members.
That's right. We have the last 3, we've been sort of doing a test run. We think we've started to get a really good grasp on the way that we want boot camps to run, and people really loved the last boot camp. So we will, anyone can join now.
Newsflash of the week, we have this OPGG. And Charles, hopefully you're going to pop this on the screen. This was linked in the Midland Academy this week, and I was absolutely gobsmacked.
This is an achievement.
This is a real OPGG that we're about to look at here. Now, for those podcast listeners, this was an account. This is on the EU West server. Currently Diamond 3. 2,600 wins, 2,600 losses. This person has played, what is that? That's about 5,200
games this year.
Yeah, we calculated it. It's something like, how many games? It was like 10 plus hours, like 13 hours a day or something.
Now, the what I love about this, and the reason I kind of wanted to highlight this, is that we talk a lot about repetitions, and repetitions matter, muscle memory matters, but up until a point. And this person has been sitting at the same ELO bracket for the past over a year. It's been about a year and a half. And this person has, they were Diamond 4 at the beginning of last season, and now we're, 3/4 of the way through this season, and they're a Diamond 3. And so this person has put in, think about how much time this person has put in. And
that's more games than most people will play in like 5 seasons, by the way.
Yeah,
Way more than
I would
that, maybe
say
their lifetime.
Maybe their life. lifetime.
Yeah, I think 1,000 games a season is like a 3 block a day, right?
So that would be.
That's right, 300 something days. Yeah,
Yeah,
something like that,
Yeah.
Yep. About that.
So,
yeah.
So it's 3 blocks a day.
So this person's done 5,200. So that's basically 5 years. Yeah, 5 seasons
in one.
potentially of 3 blocks, 3 block a day.
Yeah.
I love the season differences. Like it's like a steady climb just by getting the reps in, like, right? So started at like silver, then for a couple of years, then went to gold for a couple of years, and then emerald for a year, and then now diamond. Now, in the last year or so.
And
Really
so,
interesting.
And this person basically is a Gwen OTP, 3,300 games with
Wow.
Gwen, and they play Gwen jungle and Gwen mid.
It's like a comic. It's comical when you say that.
And it's, look, we're not here to rank shame or anything, but it's a great reminder, guys, intensity. And having intention. If you just mindlessly queue up and you mindlessly play, muscle memory and talent will only get you so far. And the tough pill to swallow for this person is that they are literally they're going to go nowhere. Right? If you've played 5,200 games and you're still at the same rank that you were, 18
Something's got to
months ago.
change. It's like, what's the quotes? Nothing changes. The Insanity's doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Yeah.
Another Einstein quote or whatever it is. So, yeah, we've got to change something up. Either change process, either change view of the game. A lot of people like to think, it's the build and the champion's the problem. That's a lot of the time people think is the
Or
problem.
if I just-
look at the Sona game. That is Sona, right? That
Yeah,
I'm
we're
screen from,
we're like playing Sona now. So maybe he does think Gwen's the problem
Yeah,
now.
he does think Gwen's the
So
So this guy's breaking point, by the way, is 3,000 games of Gwen. Now it's time to change champion.
So the reality as well is like
Problem.
people often say like I just need to get more repetitions. That's going to solve my problem, and that is true to a certain extent.
For some players, yes.
For some players, yes. But again, I think it's a really great reminder, guys. Intensity matters. Intention matters. Repetitions aren't going to solve all of your problems, and this is what we want to avoid. This is not what we want to see. We don't want to see people addicted to the game, ruining their lives, throwing everything out, and just basically because you're getting no learning. And I would say this, if anything, this is a reminder of what can happen if you do not have a healthy relationship with the game, and how League can be simultaneously one of the greatest things in your life or one of the worst things in your life.
Yeah, what this reminds me of is like League should be a part of your life. It shouldn't be your life.
Yeah.
Like
this is your life. This is there's no way this person has a job, right? It's impossible.
No.
No, I think like there's actually a big correlation I see in the academies of like people who climb generally have other stuff going on because it forces you to step away from the game and reflect and take breaks.
It's so funny you say that. I had a guy who was on holiday. I can't remember, it was between jobs or whatever. And they had all this time.
Yeah.
They had free time for like a few weeks. And they said they went backwards. They got worse. They de-ranked when they had more time because they had, all this time they didn't know how to integrate League into their life, and they end up playing too many blocks. And I know, Nathan, you've spoke a lot about Will extensively on the podcast, right? Or you want to maybe elaborate on that?
Yeah, when he first got, when I was coaching him, first got rank 1 on the North American ladder, he was in high school at the time. And he literally said, a couple of weeks ago, he says, I felt like I had a better relationship with the game. I had a healthier mindset when I was playing less than what I am now, because obviously he's out of high school, he's graduated, it was a couple of years ago, which is very interesting that that's possible, right? Getting rank 1 on the leaderboard, win high school playing less than, what he is now,
Well, it happens on a micro level for a lot of people in like on the weekend. I see a lot of people, they gain LP during the week, and then on the
Yeah.
weekend when
They
they have
just,
free
like,
time,
lose it
they
all.
lose all the LP. Like I see
Because
that
they're playing
quite
like 10
frequently.
games or whatever, and then they start tilt killing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. It works that way. And then that just goes to proof that there is high intensity. There is focus. League is not a game where you just automatically load on the Rift and you're instantly your skill level. It's just, and then it's just like, you're just trying to like progressively.
No, because it's a performance game. Your performance
It's
in
a sport.
Is
It's
that-
a sport.
Okay.
It's a goddamn sport.
We have that on a t-shirt.
Yeah.
Right now.
League is a sport. That's going to be our movement.
League is a sport.
It's not like a gambler's game.
So Nathan, NattyNat, he's been the talk of the town over the past week or so. So
Yes.
you've done a bit of research.
Yep. So,
NattyNat.
why?
Who is
NattyNat? So he's a Rengar OTP, a Rengar from Europe, and he's currently boot camping in Korea. Charles, again, good to put up the OPGG. So we have multiple OPGGs to put up on this episode, Charles, just a reminder. Go back to the Reddit post, Curtis, because I want to read out the headline. So the headline on this Reddit post here is NattyNat hits Grandmaster in Korea with an obscene 87% win rate in 104 games. So people are like, whoa, that's really impressive. And that's a really impressive climb. There was a comment here saying Quad, who was like a pro player, went 54-0 start to the solo queue last Worlds before he had a top jungle duo. Anyway, don't remember that last part of the comment. But that's like pro player level stuff, right? So this guy's absolutely, and this guy's not a pro player. He's just a solo queue player who streams and plays Rengar. So people have been making videos, like, how do you do it? What's going on? So I want you guys to visualize a scenario for me right here, talking about Rengar. I'll get more into the specifics. I wrote some notes around what I observed from his gameplay. Rengar, all right? I want you guys to visualize a team fight happening, all right?
Oh, God.
Rengar pops his stealth. You know how when you're close to people, you get a little thing on top of your head?
Yep, the eyeballs.
He very sort of patient, not going in. The enemy's starting to panic. They're all starting to move back group. Really, really patient on the ult. Gets behind a wall. Instantly one-shots the AD carry. The entire team goes and turns on him to try and one-shot him. He empowered Ws and stuff, sometimes gets away, sometimes dies, but he's just killed the primary target, the AD carry, and he's burnt and wasted so much time from the enemy, even though he's died, or even if he's lost all those HPs out of the fight, his team's able to clean up because they tried to kill him. So what Rengar's really good at doing, and the best, what I really observed from him in a lot of these fights is that he's killing the primary target, he's one-shotting them literally, and then he's able to get away or buy so much time that his team's able to clean up the fight after. Now looking at specifics. Full clears, most games, no really cheese invades or anything like that. And this is a really good example of extreme champion mastery, guys. This guy knows how to kill people with Rengar. Sometimes I don't even really know what he's doing. He's doing it so quickly. Talking about mindset a little bit. I've watched a little bit of it, his streams and something to observe, takeaways from this. Every time he dies or after a fight, he says it so often, I could have played that better.
Yeah, I've heard him say that too.
And literally, I'm like looking at it. I'm like, really? Could you play it that much better? Like, he's trying to absolutely min-max the absolute perfect damage output, absolute perfect sequence movement. That mindset is so goddamn powerful to have, especially as an assassin, as a Rengar. I think that is such a health. Imagine the ego you could easily have at an 87% win rate. GM. People probably
on a selfish champ as well. Those sort of champions often feed people's egos.
Yeah, and he could easily say, "Oh, my teammates, blame that." Like, I'd say there is some games there. Obviously, sometimes he's blaming his teammates, but the fact that that's his reaction a lot of the time, that goes to show that's how he built his champ mastery. He really thinks about killing people in the game. He's very good at killing people. I think a lot of people sometimes, will try and... You can't replicate this Rengar, by the way. You need to have thousands of hours of champ mastery level to be able to get to that consistency of killing people. And over my coaching over this year, I've definitely respected more and more about understanding how important winning fights are and just the output of damage. Like, I just see the difference in the amount of... I always try and think about champions and sort of even what I recommend to sort of beginner players is that the ability to consistently output a certain amount of damage in X amount of fights allows you to sort of win games. Like, if you play... there's a lot of champions out there that can do 0 damage in a fight. Right? If you really mess it up or completely ruin it or int it. The people that get the most results and people that are really good at fights are able to output their damage at least a little bit in their fights. And this guy is like pumping out, even though he might even be killing people, even if he chunks some people or buys time, like, this guy's just making the enemy team work and sweat for everything. So yeah, the fighting is incredible. A really good case study of extreme champ mastery. Nothing really that sexy in terms of the game, but sometimes he dies and it's just like, it's just, death. It's sometimes very ugly gameplay, but he just puts so much pressure on the map and he's so threatening to play against.
I think he really knows how to kill sides, really well.
Yeah.
I think he kills people inside really efficiently.
Knows his job. He knows who he's hunting in the mid game. He will make 1 or 2 people's life miserable.
Yes.
And that's not like people might be saying that's like a strategy or whatever. No, that's Rengar's champ identity as an assassin. That's the only thing you can do. He's very good at doing what Rengar does. People might be saying, he's got some secret sauce. It's not. It's just beautiful Rengar gameplay and fundamentals.
What I personally, just to echo on that, as a laner, he plays jungle more like a laner, getting himself ahead. So there was a game that I was watching on his YouTube. He has some great YouTube content, by the way, highlights of his games. And there was one where he was recently put out versus Gumayushi. Gumayushi on the enemy team was 20-4 as Lucian. And the game was really, really, really hard. But then the enemy Yorick on the enemy team was was just tilted or something, and he just kept killing the Yorick.
I watched this VOD as well, yeah.
He got so fed off the Yorick. He just kept killing the Yorick, and then he got to the point where he could like just one-shot the Lucian.
Yeah.
So he like realized that, okay, I probably can't kill the Lucian for a while. But it's like, okay, I'm just going to keep calling this Yorick, got himself to that point, and then could take over the game.
I remember watching that VOD. The thing I took away was just the micro, dude. Like, it's not easy to 1v1 a Yorick inside, but he was 1v1ing the Yorick. And, like, there was some crazy stuff. Like, the amount of times that game, he was just clicking so well. Like, forget the actual Rengar mechanics. Just, like, champion mechanics, like dodging every Silas E with movement, dodging every Yorick E with movement, using the bushes, flashing into bushes, knowing which empowerment to hit every time. Like, yeah.
There was in that game as well, there was a Silas that built Zhonya's and Banshees.
Yeah.
And he just wasn't afraid to just jump straight on the Silas and just one-shot the Silas. Like I feel like if I was in that scenario, like I would be hesitating. Oh, do I really want to use my R on this guy? But he's like, I'm just going to kill him. I have to kill him sometimes.
Yeah.
And like you said, he's willing sometimes to just go 1-for-1. He knows he's out of position. He's just going to create a lot of space, take someone out of the fight at minimum. Like, he never dies in a low value way.
Yeah.
There is not a single death he has where it's like he's just out of position, he's caught, he's getting nothing. He's either taking jungle camps, he's either cross-mapping and preventing invades, or even if he does kind of get caught, he'll play it in a way where he's like at minimum trading 1-for-1. So his deaths are such high value. You know, I think that's the patience in his fighting.
Yeah,
I
a
think
lot
is
of the
next level.
patience. There's some ults he just literally just leaves. He just the ult expires and that's it.
Correct, yes.
Everyone feels forced to go in with a Rengar ult. It's just they'll rather just run in and hope something happens. He knows whether it's going to work out or not. He knows whether it's going to be a high value death or not.
So I think what the average person can take away from this is like, I think, like you said, champion mastery, how far champion mastery can really take you. But also, again, it's really what League is at its best, is attention to detail, high standards, pumping out maximum damage, efficiency, and he's also just having a blast. You know, he's
quite a positive streamer,
very, very positive streamer, and I love to see that.
He's having a lot of fun. Obviously, people say, "Oh, he's winning; it's a lot of fun." But you know, he's had to put in a lot of work to get to that level that I'm sure was sometimes not as fun.
I was talking to Tim about him, and apparently in EU, he says as soon as you get to Chal, you have to ban Rengar. Like, everyone bans Rengar.
Wow.
It's like a perma ban in EU, like Chal,
Right?
Because it's just no one can deal with him.
Yeah, awesome to see. A really good example of champ mastery.
Good player wins and climbs. This
Thanks,
just
Charles,
this
for that
just
one.
this just in.
So we're going to move on to
Wild
Skool post of the week here from Kyle, titled Chovy on Talent. I know this topic has been brought up on a few BBC episodes, so it's always nice to see when pros have the same view on it. Specifically, that saying someone is talented is kind of unfair to them. This is a quote on the situation from a Chovy AMA recently. Question: how did you develop knowledge of laning and last hitting? And Chovy replied, I just research a lot. People often call it talent, but I don't agree. While I admit I have more talent than others, calling it just talent feels unfair. I've researched a lot and think about it often. Every champion has strong windows at different levels. I calculate those situations. I think about whether there are ways to deal with them and how to pressure harder when I'm ahead. Since every game starts under the same conditions, if you don't study, you won't get good results.
And for people that don't know who Chovy is, he's widely considered the best player in the world for many years, even though obviously people say faker, but Chovy is extremely good individual player.
I'll say the best individual player in the world, specifically.
I am the biggest anti-talent person. I love, even if it does exist, I just don't care. I just don't give a shit.
I think it's awesome that he
pointless.
acknowledges it, though. He says, I am talented, but I also put in the work. That's like crazy.
Yeah. I love it. I love him saying that, this is the work. I mean, I think it's even an understatement. He says, I think about, it often in our research, dude. This is like his life, dude. He's like dedicated his life to
it. Spans thousands of solo queue games, scrims, 1v1s.
And thinks about it every second of the day. That's what the best in the world are in any sport. They're obsessed.
So look at
in
this.
any sport.
Sport, yes.
This was a follow-up question in the AMA. Please share your secret to waking up early and regularly in the morning. First, this is what he says. First, I set about 3 alarms. I make sure I can get at least 4 hours of sleep. But lately, I don't know. On days when I don't have community service, I don't know what that means.
Like family fan stuff or something like that.
I used to wake up at 12:30 p.m., but nowadays, even if I don't set an alarm, so basically, he barely sleeps.
Yeah, he's doing the unsustainable.
He's doing the unsustainable approach. Exactly right. And I'm not saying we've worked with players at this level, but we've worked with players. Again, I'm going to highlight Schernfire. When Schernfire was at his peak and back in Direwolves, when you look at someone that is really obsessed about their craft, it's kind of shocking. Schönfire, for example, well, you know, for those who don't know Schönfire, he was a jungler at Direwolves, TLDR. He got like rank 2 in Korea,
Rank
right?
3 or something like
Rank
that. That was like
3.
in 2015, 2016. Trialed for T1.
And even recently,
amateur
didn't he
team.
get like
Yeah, it was
pretty
like,
high up?
yeah, it was,
was
like
top 10,
20.
wasn't he?
Was it top 10 in Korea or something like that?
I think it was top 10, maybe top 20.
So
Top
he's a
20.
very, very, very good player. And we saw like firsthand, I remember like we would, you know, he would wake up in the morning, he was thinking about getting better at League. He would walk to the gaming, our office. He would straight away be watching VODs. He'd be playing scrims all day, straight into solo queue all night, coming home, talking about the game, thinking about the game. When he's in bed, he's literally thinking about what he could have done better in those games. Every working minute of the day was thinking about how can I get better at this game.
Yeah, I mean, Schön's the definition of, like, we saw it. There's no talent. Like, Schön is quite untalented.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I hate to say he might not.
And
I
yet,
know, I
he was
think
the
great.
best. And yet he was the
And
best.
yet he was the
And
best.
yet he
in
was
our
the best
region,
by far in our region.
There was way more talented players in our region than him, but
Yes.
he was able to beat all of them just from his sheer work ethic.
And that's the thing. It's like, and this is when you see it in person. It's like, you know, you obviously they rock up on game day and they just dominate.
Yeah.
And you see them in solo queue and they dominate. But you don't see all of the things that they're doing behind the scenes. You don't know their internal monologue. You don't know how much they're brewing and, you know, over those mistakes that they're making in solo queue and thinking about. Like, I remember me and Schön would have conversations like 10 p.m. like on the way home from the office, and he'd be talking about like, oh, I think I could have passed like whatever this. I think like I feel like in our drafts we could be like. He's constantly thinking about the game, and I'm like, I'm trying to clock off for the day, and he's still thinking about the game as we're going to bed. And that is the level of dedication that the people don't see. They just see the end result. And this is when players like Chovy, like when you talk about talent, it is borderline disrespectful in a way to those players.
Cool.
Mailbag?
Mailbag time. Away we go. Welcome back for Nathan's Mailbag. Jingle, jingle, jingle song. Alrighty then. Our first question here comes from Kaise. The title of this email is, should I play what's working or should I play what I want? I've just recently started playing League last season and I don't know where or who I want to play. So I've been trying different champions and roles. I really enjoy playing Kalista in Swift play, but playing Kalista in solo queue, Iron, Bronze, Elo is like hell. Yes, I'm not mechanically good. Yes, I might be making bad decisions, but when my support wastes my ults or play really bad, it makes me tilt. All right. Here we go. On the other hand, I also play AP Cho'Gath top and was on a winning streak against almost 40 LP per win and losing around 10 LP a loss.
Oh my God.
So should
Stonks.
So should I play what's working or should I play what I want or should I play a different champion until I'm better at the game then play Kalista later?
Yes.
Charles,
You got to focus your attention in the right areas to start off with. So if you're gonna play, let's just engage in the hypothetical where you're going to play Kalista. I'm assuming Kalista is what you want, although the way you're discussing Kalista doesn't sound like you're having a whale of a time. Kalista's maybe the hardest AD carry in the game, honestly. Like, she's up there, definitely top 3 most difficult. Like Kalista, Draven, Aphelios kind of stuff is the most difficult. Incredibly bad in solo queue because it relies on you getting a lead in the early game and then cleanly snowballing the game. A lot of games in Iron and Bronze go hyper late game and you need to be able to output AoE DPS in teamfights, generally speaking, to win. And lane bully champions just generally don't perform as well. Also, it's just incredibly difficult to output damage on that champion. You have to get in the action. You have to be taking risks with your positioning. It's just a horrific champ to play. But if you wanted to play Kalista, you would have to get into the details. You would have to look at the quality of your trading, the quality of your aggression in lane, your wave management, your resets, how you're snowballing a game after taking the first tower. These are the kinds of areas your focus would have to be in, not ulti usage. I think ulti usage is just not it for Kalista at all. Not even a very ulti reliant champion, if I'm being honest. You should be winning lane levels 1, 2, and 3 a lot of the time, which is just not something that happens in Iron Bronze.
Not even that, but it's not even part of your skill set yet. You can't do that. Like, an Iron Bronze player is not going to learn the game and win games through getting the lead in the early game and snowballing that game like perfectly. That's just not a skill set.
No, but
right?
what you could learn, and I teach a lot of like Tristana players this in low ranks, is just learn to kill your lane opponent.
Okay.
Identify when they're out of position. Develop some threat assessment. I could imagine you potentially doing that. Again, I would not recommend it. I think just change what you want to play. Don't play Kalista. You're going to have a shit time, and you're going to probably stay quite a low rank for quite a while. I've never seen anyone climb playing Kalista from that rank. in my life.
Can we just go just sort of at a high level about should I play what's working or what I enjoy? I would say, especially for new players, you should always do, to begin with.
No, it's not binary. It can't be what do I enjoy versus what works. It needs to be what do I enjoy within some parameters.
Yeah, it can't be just...
There's 150 or 60 teams in the game. There's going to be something else you enjoy that isn't goddamn Callista. You just pick the worst one. And to be honest with you, when I see people pick the worst one, I'm going to be a bit brutal here. It's oftentimes a form of weird self-sabotage, honestly. Like, you're either completely uninformed, but I don't think you are uninformed because you're asking the question, should I play Callista? You're kind of asking for our permission to switch, maybe, but like just play something like Callista that is a little bit easier to play. Like Tristana can be an aggressive champion lane. Corki can be an aggressive champion in lane. Ash can be aggressive in lane. These champions are much simpler and kind of operate in a similar-ish way. So
yeah, it's got to be both. Like, yeah, we get that. I think I get that question a lot where people say, should I do what's working or enjoy? You know, you've got to find that balance as in the certain parameters.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that response. I'm going to steal that one from you, Charles. I like that. Because, yeah, it just can't be binary like that, you know? Like,
You can't hate your champ.
no.
Right? It's got to be in the middle where you kind of, it's like you don't hate it, you don't need to love it, just you're okay. You're on the fence.
And you're
about
sort of seeing some success with it, you know? And
Because winning's fun.
Yeah, winning's fun.
Winning's
And then
fun.
let's cycle some champs, mate.
Confidence.
Let's play some different champs. I don't want you playing Kalista for hundreds of games. I don't even want you playing Trist for hundreds of games. Let's cycle some champions in there. Play one for 80 games. Play another for 80 games. Develop some role mastery. Figure out what the hell's going on in the bot lane holistically. You know, that's how you're going to become a better player.
There's so many fun champs out there, guys. People pigeonhole themselves
Yeah.
so quickly in League.
Just on that topic, by the way, I feel as though the whole fun thing, you will learn to have fun with champions.
That's where charm mastery comes into play.
So people kind of expect that you're going to play a champ, you're going to play 5 or 10 games of it, and then you're going to magically have a blast.
Yeah.
Champs traditionally just aren't fun until you know how to play them, right? You unlock the fun element of champions a lot of the time, right? You can learn to have fun on champions.
It's like there's a lot of like WoW classes for World of Warcraft people that are like that, where some playing the it's so hard to like level up from levels 1 to 20 with it, but then it gets really fun. There's like breakpoints.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You know, like
Yeah,
World of
yeah,
Warcraft.
yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
people can relate to that. Like I think of like what are some characters? Like I think about a priest that gets
Leveling with a
shadow form or
priest, yeah,
something like
exactly.
that.
I was
Yeah,
thinking
leveling with
priest as
is
well, yeah.
so bad, right? And then
Correct.
some are a little bit easier, right? So yeah, that's a good analogy for that. All right, next question here comes from Kensato. The title of this email is Transferring Skills Across Games and Battling Narratives. We love battling narratives here on the BBC podcast. Dear BBC, I haven't played League in years now, but I recently won an award for being the winning coach in a tournament for a different game called Supervive.
Supervive is like a... I don't even know what sort
Is
of
it
game
a
it is.
fighting game?
I don't think so. I think it's like one of those... like you drop in and run around sort of games.
Like what are those called? Battle arenas, isn't it?
I think it's one of those. Maybe not. Maybe it's a MOBA actually.
Someone look it up on your phone or something.
All right, yeah.
While I'm reading the email, Charles. The vast majority of what I taught my players was stuff like handling lull states, preparing mental stacks, and helping my players min-max their fundamentals.
I was right. It is a battle royale.
Stuff that I learned about because of your podcast. I've listened over the years even without playing League. Going back to our losers queue movement people, there's another good case study around learning League. You know, this guy became a winning coach in a tournament for a different game. He's using the skills that can be applied to other games. How crazy is that? And
I was sports.
back
Is
to
Supervive
sports.
a sport? Let's
Yeah.
not get into that. Just keep reading the email.
That's right. So I've listened over the years even without playing League. Again, it's so crazy that there's like this listener base out there that don't even play. Like Valorant players listen to this podcast. You know, this guy's a Supervive player. Like we've got Battle Royale players now listening to this podcast. Well, I've taken to heart these lessons in my own gameplay, and I was lucky that my players didn't hit any mental blocks. My question is, how do you combat narratives? In my own gameplay especially, I have a hard time getting locked into a mindset, trying to define my strengths and weaknesses, and it never seems to result positively for me. Furthermore, if I saw one of my players dealing with similar mental blocks, I'm unsure how to support them and help them overcome them. Any advice will be appreciated. Cheers for the amazing content over the years as a coach. Y'all are my inspirations, and as a player, y'all have helped me ground myself in my process.
So the question is, while I've taken those lessons in my own gameplay, and I was lucky that my players didn't hit any mental blocks, my question is, how do you combat narratives? Okay. All right. So, let's talk about narratives for a second, okay? So narratives are typically It's a term that we use to describe kind of like faulty lines.
It's a
of
story
thought.
we tell ourselves. That's why we use the word narrative. The narrative comes from fiction, right? We tell ourselves a story about something that's going on to explain like something happening.
It's not based in logic.
And humans are very good at that because that helps us. It's like sort of our copium in a little bit.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
We can explain the world through story.
Through
Like
stories,
Losers
yeah.
Queue is a narrative, a lot of the time.
Rek'Sai must gank and get ahead early is a narrative.
Narrative, yes.
So we can use that. How did you break that narrative? Because you held that narrative for a while and then you literally broke it, right,
Well,
Nathan?
that's a great example. How did I break that narrative? I guess I just did the complete opposite, and then I figured out that I could actually win with it. That's the quickest way that I figured it out. Is like seeing results with it. I guess it's hard to sort of. But then you'd ask, like, why did I even try to do the complete opposite?
And that's the rock bottom mindset.
Yeah,
right?
I
You
guess-
just hit
I
rock
guess
bottom.
it
It all
is.
comes back to hitting rock bottom.
Big bottom. Like, I want to get results. I got to figure out an alternative, right? So, I guess this is where growth mindset and being open minded. I guess
I
comes
want
into play.
to jump in and say it's just simply about learning to get uncomfortable. You got to learn to get uncomfortable because what narratives do is they make you feel better about something that you're fundamentally uncomfortable with. That's what it is. When you boil it down, Nathan was uncomfortable scaling with Rek'Sai.
Yeah.
Right? People are uncomfortable with a particular champion. I don't know how to deal with Zed, right? Zed is an OP champion. It's uncomfortable. Or I'm uncomfortable reviewing my games. Whatever the narrative that you have is surrounding whatever it is, you're bound to be uncomfortable. You're trying to escape something. You're trying to basically avoid the issue in some capacity. So the real way you got to go about it is like, okay, I have some sort of narrative about this. I know I'm probably missing the picture. I'm not basing my thing in reality here. Okay, what Nathan did is he faced that uncomfortability by just, slamming his face into the opposite direction. If my narrative is that Rek'Sai doesn't...
and it's not working.
I'm going to do the complete opposite and stress test that idea, get really, really uncomfortable. Another one, Nathan, you did is with the broken accounts. Right? The way you tackled that is, you know what? I'm going to sit on this one account that has a negative win rate.
I'm only going to 3-block. I'm going to play super high intensity. I'm going to see if it works.
I want to see what happens. And you fixed a quote-unquote doomed account.
Negative LP gains.
Every narrative, Nathan, that you've had, you've basically just slammed your head into the wall until you've really figured it out and broke through that narrative. And so you're very good at that, Nathan. I think a lot of people, what happens is that they feel uncomfortable. This sucks. I'm going to run away and go the opposite direction or stay, within that comfort zone, And they don't try to branch out and break it down. So that's really the way to get around it.
Yeah, I think another way to frame that may be something along the lines of something I think about and I help other people with, just fake it till you make it. Like, what's going on in your mind doesn't actually matter, believe it or not. Your clicks on the keyboard and your actions in real life are what matters. So if you just do it anyway, it doesn't matter what you believe or don't believe because your actions will produce a result which will then convince you, right? So let's say I really have a narrative against Fizz and I always dodge when I verse Fizz or I ban Fizz. Just literally whatever you think, just do not ban Fizz. And next time you verse Fizz, just play it. Just figure it out, Watch some VODs, just play the game. And then you'll get met with a result and you have to deal with that result. And now you've got some ammo to fix the narrative with. So just do the action even if you don't want to. It's the same way as saying do what's uncomfortable. Just fake it. Fake the ability to do it.
Another way is literally use the thing that you have a narrative. So if you have a narrative, I'm assuming there's a gun game, Supervive, and there's a gun that's OP, use that gun and figure out the weaknesses. If you have a narrative about a map, do whatever is causing you uncomfortability, do it. Right? That's what people have a mental block with Zed. Play 10 games of Zed. And then you'll start to realize the cooldowns, the weaknesses. Oh my god, if I miss a shuriken, I do no damage. You'll figure it out by playing it.
Yeah, the classic one is junglers. It's like, why is my jungler just doing all the camps? Why aren't they helping my lane? It's like, play jungle, mate. You'll know what that feels like.
You'll know very quickly.
Yes.
So I will say I think it's important to not beat around the bush here. I don't have a general framework for tackling narratives. I tackle, me as a coach personally, and even myself in my life, I tackle every narrative differently. Straight up. But the thing that I would say is I really try to get to the root cause of where that narrative came from. That's what I try to do. If I'm just going to cut the fat, I get uncomfortable and I try to, if I have a narrative about a champion getting overpowered or something, or some element being too strong, I'm going to say, okay, well, obviously I don't understand this well enough. I'm missing something. There's something in my understanding that is missing. And it goes back to that quote. Everything makes sense. It's just your view of reality if it doesn't. Right? So I got to figure out what is missing in my view of reality that is creating this narrative. That's what you're trying to do. You're trying to fill that gap. That takes introspection, getting uncomfortable, having the tough conversation with yourself, and not beating around the bush and being really fucking honest with yourself. That's the core of it.
And I think sometimes it's good to get other people's perspectives to help you break down your own narratives, because they'll be able to cut through because narratives is about you being very subjective, and someone coming out from the outside is going to be more objective in terms of breaking down the narrative. All right, our next question here comes from Lukey. The title of this email is Stage 4 Issues Feel Too Much Like a Cycle to Get Out of. We love Stage 4 issues here on the Broken by Concept podcast, specifically me. Stage 4 issues getting to a point where we hit rock bottom.
You're at rock bottom now.
Nathan rock bottom might. Hi there, Nathan and Curtis.
Rightio.
You do the click.
I'm an ADC Ezreal main who has been playing
End of review.
for roughly around a year or two, by now reaching Plat 3 as my peak rank.
I'm not helping.
Best I've ended is Gold 3 after Season 14. As of late, I have managed to climb to Platinum 4, but I've fallen victim to my biggest flaw as a person. Competition is the bane of my existence. I hate it, but at the same time draw all my self-worth from it, be it my job, in-game, social standing, just in life as a whole. This has led to me being forced to tackle major issues growing up, and even now they still persist in my life, like it's been a whole part of my personality. Something that I can't seem to get rid of, no matter how hard I try or believe I am trying. When I'm in a league game, I find myself playing badly, getting so frustrated at the little mistakes I make and having no way of letting go of those feelings. This leads to tilt, raging, flaming my teammates, inting, and overall puts me in a downward spiral. So my main question is, how do I avoid this entirely? I clearly get the feeling that I can't handle it, and every time I actually do find myself learning, climbing, seeing my improvement, it only lasts for a short amount of time before once again the habits settle in. This is an exhausting process which leads to doubt, insecurity, self-hatred, and honestly speaking physical harm to myself. I'm not proud of it. I've had to deal with it, and I've been in therapy for far longer than a year in total being left unable to rid myself of these problems. I can see where it stems from. I feel the urge to be the best constantly, and I don't know why. Parents have told me I've even had it when I was younger, and I was told not to get angry, upset, or frustrated with a loss, but nothing calmed me down. I used to play table tennis on a professional level until I decided to quit and found myself punching brick walls out of frustration and my shortcomings and failures after losing games or performing badly, because to me, they define me as a person no matter how small or big it can be. People would look at me like I'm crazy because my will and feel to win is just a Serbian when I find myself getting that anger in front of others. So it's just, so it's not just flaming others online, because there is the benefit of the screen between us. I just want to hope, because every time I go through it, my fixed mindset builds up and I see stage 4 issues so clearly, but just feel like I have no control over anything. It seriously brings me a lot of distress, and I just want advice. I know I meant to start small, but everything is so incredibly looming over my head. It makes it feel impossible to ignore. Thank you for your time and your podcasts. The first thing that comes to mind here, Curtis, is what our mentor, Jonathan Brown, we've done 2 podcast episodes with him, talked about, because we had a lot of players as well that dealt with, a lot of anger. Their self-worth was their results, talking about identity level.
Elitism.
Could you actually Google, Curtis? I think that there's good results when you look up like identity level behavior or something like that. If you type in that, I think that this explains it really well. But it's basically separating like you from your behaviors.
Oh yeah, so that's the what's in James Clear, right?
Is that James Clear? Yeah.
Yeah, so so basically what you're trying to get at is that there is language that is tied to you as an individual, right? So I am shit versus
the behaviors that I am.
This Ezreal Q was shit rather than I am shit.
Yes,
exactly right. Well, you go on.
Yeah, so I just want to read this here a little bit. So identity level behavior refers to actions and patterns that stem from an individual's deep-seated sense of self and personal values, often driven by a desire to align with their self-concept and social roles, instead of merely managing surface-level symptoms or behaviors. Identity level therapy and theory focus on changing the internal associations and beliefs that shape these patterns.
Okay, so what we learned from Jono back in the day, and what he worked with the players, because obviously he was not a therapist, he was just a performance coach, but he started with changing language. Okay, so language is something that both internally and externally is something that you can change day to day that will make marked differences on your view of yourself, right? And so again, we always found players saying, I'm so shit, yeah. I'm so bad, I don't deserve this. It's like I. It's all identity. It's you as a, but you can't change I, right? But what you can change is your behavior, because you are you, right? You are you. And so, but behaviors are very different. That's the next rung down, right? And so behaviors such as is like, okay, this will, by the way, make a subtle difference over a long period of time. It's not going to change overnight, but it might be like, okay, I played this skirmish poorly. I used my ability in this fight way too, let's say rigidly, or I was too slow with my echo W here. I misused my flash. My flash was terrible here. So what you've done is that you've kind of created a gap between you at an identity level and then you as a player and your performance and your behavior.
Behaviors, yeah.
Okay, I think that's a really good point, Nathan. That's something that's very practical that anyone can do, actually, and that's something that if you need to get on top of.
Yeah, so I would really recommend do some research on looking at this identity level versus the behavior. I think that helped a lot of our players, and actually just really clicked a lot of things for me as well, with some of my mindsets. So
I think yeah, it's a pretty deep topic, honestly, this as well, when it comes to like self-worth and self-love and this kind of thing. I think there might be no beating around the bush. I mean, this is where my mind initially goes with this. It's like, you need to kind of replace where you derive your self-worth from with something. You can't just remove it from the game. It's like, if I derive my self-worth from my profession or my sport or whatever it is, and then you're asking, okay, don't do that. But then where do you derive your self-worth from? I think that's the answer. That's the question you need to answer in order to move on from this, is you need to ground yourself in something else, whether that be your relationships, whether that be your values and ideals. Like, if you're not, like, again, we're a League of Legends podcast. I'm reading into the individual here, but if you're not comfortable with who you are and how you operate in the world, then you're going to seek to, like, get validation from other things, whether that be the table tennis or the league or your job or whatever. But there's deeper things in life than those things where you can kind of, this is me talking as a 27-year-old here, but yeah, you've got to love yourself through how you act and how you talk to others and how you operate in the world. And if you do that, you can be at peace, and then League just becomes an expressive hobby, I think that's the end goal. Obviously, you've been to therapy. You've probably had people say similar things, but I would not try to solve this problem on the Rift. And I wouldn't try and solve it in terms of how you even approach the game out of the Rift. I would approach this with, like, it's more of a life thing. Hey, I think it's like growing self-love. I think honestly, self-love would solve this problem immediately. If you're comfortable with who you are, problem solved. So I think, like, tough problem to have to solve to get rid of this, but that's no beating around the bush. I think that's probably the only solution here. I think that there could be some tactics and things to get over this, but I think that if we're looking for the root problem, that's probably it.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head, Charles. We could talk endlessly about little tools and tactics. Like, we had another one called Heart Math, was something that Jono was really big on. So regulating your heartbeat, and so you could do breathing exercises and things to basically calm your, like, literally lower your heartbeat and stabilize your heart, your rhythm. And that can help regulate emotions. You can have tools such as high quality questions. Whenever you start to get angry and frustrated, you can literally develop the ability to regulate your emotions through those high quality questions. There's things that you can do. And I think I would heavily, try to find a toolkit. So when you find yourself getting frustrated, having, forms of dialogue internally, deep breaths, whatever the hell it might be to help, I guess, tackle that. But again, like Charlie said, they're all surface level. They're not really getting to the root of what your problem is. And I think you're probably going to have to do more work in terms of, if I'm going to be speaking transparently here again, as just a naive 29-year-old, Charles, You need to probably spend a little bit of time finding your broader purpose here. Like what are you here? You know, like Charlie, you said it's something deeper. It's like where are you?
There's more to it.
There's more to your life than being good at table tennis and League of Legends. Like no one gives a shit at the end of the day. It's all you versus yourself, and you are worthy of love and respect, regardless of your externals and your achievements in this material physical world. Right? It's just this is just a, you know, this is a very minor part of your life. And, you know, your family and your friends and your colleagues are all going to say the same thing. So I think that, like, yeah, Charlie's right. League is probably not how you're going to fix this. This is where you're going to have to do some research, man. Like, some people find this through spirituality.
Yeah.
Some people find it through therapy. Some people find it through, you know,
maturing, maybe.
I
older.
think relationships with friends or like intimate relationships. Like I think that's often the way people find it.
Yeah,
for sure. I'm 28, by the way. I forgot how old I was. I'm not 27.
I was going to say, Charles. I think I know your birthday better than you
to
do.
lighten the load a little bit.
All right. I was going to say one last thing. I personally really struggled with this, and my journey was slow. It wasn't just like a click of the fingers and I'm like, yep, I got it. I don't, you know, attach my self-worth to my identity. It was a long grind of reading, learning, talking, internal dialogue, you know, the surface level breathing techniques. I've done everything under the fucking sun, honestly. And then you get to a point where it's like, it actually kind of makes sense. And then so you just need to start that journey. As long as you feel like you're starting that journey, you're on that path, you're going to be okay. You'll get there in the end, man. And it's just a slugfest, really.
Slugfest. All right. Well, that wraps up our podcast episode today, guys. Remember, 3-block process bootcamp tickets. There'll be a link in the description below to snag those up before they all sell out.
Which movement are you going to join? The losers queue movement or the self-improvement movement?
And the sport movement.
The sport movement. League is a sport.
We'll see you guys on our next episode.